Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Haley, and on this channel we talk all things glamour, beauty, and old Hollywood bombshells. So if that sounds like your thing, then feel free to subscribe to this channel for more content like this. And welcome to the Bombshell Book Club. This is a series I have created where we discuss books related to glamour and beauty and all things old Hollywood. And in this particular episode, we are discussing lingerie. So one of my commenters had recommended that I read this book, and I am so happy I did because it made me laugh. It made me cry. It actually filled me with so much emotion that I'm going to break down in this video, or attempt to. But the book is called In Intimate Detail by Cora Harrington. She is a lingerie expert. She had a blog called Lingerie Addict, which is no longer running, unfortunately, but you can follow her on Instagram, which I have. She is amazing, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts which have had her on, and she is just a wonderful, amazing woman who knows a lot about lingerie, about brands, about history, about quality. Everything is included in this book as well. Quality and care and everything you need to know about lingerie to empower you to go forth and do what you will with that information. You are not compelled to own a certain kind of lingerie. It's all about what you feel suits you and represents you the best, and something that you feel called towards. It's about giving you the tools and the permission to be able to do that, because lingerie is a topic that's not really widely discussed for some reason, even though we all wear it, even if we're just wearing a bra and knickers every day and that's it. That still counts as lingerie. That's still something that most of us are all wearing. So we're all part of the conversation, and we can all have a say on what kind of lingerie we like, and we can also all elevate our own lives and improve ourselves with our lingerie wardrobe. And that is definitely something that this book really inspired me to do. In this book, Cora Harrington really breaks down section by section all of the vocabulary you need to know about lingerie, why lingerie is so expensive, it's very difficult to make, especially things like bras, and how we can appreciate things like lace and silk and the true beauty of lingerie, and how we can all enjoy that if we want to for ourselves. It doesn't have to be for someone else necessarily, and it almost feels even more exciting sometimes when it's just for yourself, because you feel like the ultimate romantic in your life, right? It's just like using a beautiful wine glass, or, wearing perfume just for yourself. It's about enchanting your life and injecting your life with that glamour and glitter that's just for you. There's something so special about that. And when you kind of ascend to that level, even with your lingerie, when you're lounging at home and you can be glamorous, that is something that is just so powerful. These are things that us as women have as tools. They're almost magical powers that we have to inject into our lives and make everything beautiful. We can really appreciate and acknowledge beauty, which I think a lot of guys don't do. It's something that us women are great at, and lingerie is a great way to incorporate that feeling and that passion that we have into our everyday lives, even when we're lying in bed or when we're all alone on the sofa, drinking a glass of wine from a beautiful glass, of course, and feeling a certain type of way, feeling like you are worthy of being glamorous, right? Even when you're alone, this is just your life. You're like a movie character. You're so glam, right? That is something that I've definitely really wanted to inject and really kind of promote on my channel. And that is why in every single one of my videos, you may have noticed I am wearing some form of lingerie in the form of nightwear. I'm definitely not wearing full-on lingerie in the traditional sense, but I do like my nightwear. In this video, I am wearing this really cute light pink baby doll, which is from the 1950s. It's a true vintage baby doll, which is so beautifully made. That's another thing about lingerie that's so amazing, is that you can explore vintage, and vintage things, as we all know, it just are made with that extra care. And sometimes you can get really good deals on vintage too. And they're better quality than the expensive types of lingerie that you can get nowadays. And even in her book, In Intimate Detail, Cora does discuss this as well. She has a section on vintage, all sorts of lingerie for all sorts of body types, all sorts of stages in your life. I feel like I'm so rambly here because there's so many things that I want to say about this book and about my feelings towards intimate apparel and lingerie. It's definitely something that's overlooked, and it shouldn't be, because it's for all of us. And once we can think about ourselves in that way, where we don't have to just see a Victoria's Secret catwalk and think that those people are so different from us and it's just for them, we can really embrace that lingerie is for everybody. Old women, pregnant women, we all wear lingerie, and it might as well say something about us. It might as well be a language that we express to ourselves of beauty and of care, right? Care is definitely something, one of the things that made me feel quite emotional when I was reading this book, because I have had so many bras specifically in my life, but also knickers as well, that I just haven't taken enough care of. And I feel like that's kind of a direct reflection of care for myself in a way. I feel like I just didn't think to care for them, or didn't think to put the effort into really looking after them properly. And I would just kind of throw them, discard them, not treat them like the beautiful garments they were. And I had gotten to a stage in my lingerie drawer where my bras were running low, right? They were getting shapeless and they were getting discolored because I was not washing them properly. And in this book, Cora really details how to wash your underwear, to hand wash them properly. And I've started doing that since reading this book. And it's a really beautiful experience. It really feels like you are deeply caring for yourself. These are the items that are touching your body all the time throughout the day. They're the barrier between you and your clothes, and they are something that you want longevity out of, right? You want to be able to wear things for many years and to go back to them throughout your life, and to have a beautiful drawer full of everything that you need throughout your cycle, throughout the different times in your life where you prioritize different things, right? And so lingerie is just so much more than the way we view it in the traditional sense. Just to quickly scramble to put something on because we have a hot date or it's a special occasion like a wedding night. You can wear lingerie every single day. And if you make that choice as a commitment to yourself to wear beautiful things and really make intention out of what you're choosing in your lingerie, then you can kind of transform the way you walk throughout the day, the way you feel about yourself, and it can make your life more beautiful and more sensual. And that is also something that I really care about on this channel. I want to promote, these small ways where we can sensualize things as women, where we can move slowly and acknowledge and really reflect beauty, because I think that's also something that glamour is great at, is inspiring beauty in others and in surrounding yourself with beauty and embracing beauty and in really identifying beauty in everything and creating beauty from things. We can make our lives beautiful. Simply put, that's exactly how it is. And so I'm very passionate about that. And that's what this is all about. That's what wearing these things in my videos is all about, because it's just for me. I want to show that, this is me when I'm at my vanity. Of course, I have makeup on. I'm done for the day. And it's actually daytime right now. Usually I film at nighttime. But the thing is, the whole point of it is I want to express that glamour can be for you. It doesn't have to be entirely performative. It can be something that you just naturally are because it is woven throughout your life. And something that glamour has helped me with, and where I think it ties in with lingerie as well, is that it's really good at helping with your own self-expression, right? There are so many types of lingerie out there, and you want to sort of curate that and take advantage of that to sort of find what suits you, what suits your body, what makes you feel the most beautiful, the colors you love, the fabrics you love. There are so many things in lingerie that can really reflect your identity back at yourself. And that's also what glamour is great at doing, right? It's creating yourself intentionally. And so if you are so intentional about lingerie, which this book encourages you to do, you can really express your identity in the way that you want to, in the exact way that you see yourself. And that takes me on to my next point about why I think I got a little bit emotional when I read this book. And it was because I've gotten to a point in my womanhood where there are certain things that I feel like I need to start prioritizing more as a woman. And one of those is definitely lingerie. Now, lingerie was always something that I felt I couldn't afford. Good quality lingerie is, of course, very expensive, and it always takes a back seat, right? Because nobody sees it. So why should it matter, right? And even throughout my teen years, I remember wearing like the cheapest possible underwear ever. And my underwire bra, like the underwire would come out, it would dig into me. The padding would come out, or the fabric was a little bit loose and really flimsy and terrible, honestly. And the quality was poor, okay? And those kind of things were not something that I ever felt like addressing. It took me a really long time to actually address things like, what do I feel comfortable in? What makes me feel my most beautiful? What makes me feel like I'm expressing myself? And those things were not only making me emotional because I felt like I hadn't done that for myself in a really long time, but I was also emotional because I felt I always identified as someone who loved lingerie, right? I've always loved lingerie. I've even talked about it on this channel sometimes. I've always saved brands that one day I'm going to get that. One day I'm going to get something like that and wear it for myself, or one day I'm going to have a collection like this. And years and years and years go by, and you just never ever prioritize that intimate part of yourself or your life that you've always wanted to embrace, but you feel like it's just not important enough. And in intimate detail really kind of made glaringly obvious to me that this is important. You can apply a lot of meaning to, and it's something that women can feel very passionate about. And I definitely identify with that myself. From this day going forward, I really want to start prioritizing that in my life because I regard it as important. And if I am not expressing those things to myself about who I am and enforcing that, then it becomes someone else. It becomes a person who is distant from me, who is someone that I wish to eventually be, but will never quite get there if I don't actually prioritize these things right now. And I'm not saying drop a whole bunch of money on lingerie because that is unrealistic. But it's about prioritizing having that right bra for that right occasion, or having that beautiful camisole, or having that beautiful baby doll like this one, something that you can actually go back to and say, oh yeah, I do have that. This is who I am. This is what I love. And I do have those things when I need them. So obviously that's something that's very relevant when it comes to fashion and clothing, but we just push lingerie aside all the time. And I just don't think that's fair to lingerie, because lingerie is a beautiful art. It has a lot of incredible history behind it, which Cora Harrington does discuss in this video, in this book as well. She talks a lot about the origins of bras and underwear, and how women didn't always wear underwear. It was quite a new concept, and the creation of things like hosiery and loungewear as well, because lingerie incorporates all of these things, right? It's not just sexy stuff. Of course it can be, but that's only scratching the surface of what lingerie can be, and the meaning that it has behind it, and the meaning that you can put on it, right? Because I think Cora Harrington, what she's really good at is not enforcing any meaning on it for you. She kind of presents you with the facts and makes you feel more comfortable about discussing things like lingerie and more comfortable with going into a boutique, knowing what you know and having a vision of what you want. But she doesn't really impose any ideas onto you about what lingerie should mean to you, because it's intimate stuff, right? And every woman has her own relationship with lingerie. And that's really what I realized when I read this book and I started crying, because I do have a lot of complicated feelings in relation to lingerie. So that was a little bit of a revelation for me, because as someone who has started talking about this kind of stuff a lot, like self-expression and glamour and all of that here on my channel, I realized there are a lot of areas that I am lacking in, and I have a lot to learn. This book really made me want to learn more about lingerie, because it is so interesting and there is so much out there. Like, while lingerie in like vintage lingerie is much better quality, for example, but there is so much access that we have nowadays that makes it so much more exciting to just go out there and make it your own. You don't just have to go into your local lingerie store and pick whatever you want from there. You have the world and Etsy and vintage and everything to choose from. And so I find that very exciting. Also, have I told you that the foreword has been written by Dita Von Teese? I feel like that's originally why the girl in my comment section recommended this book to me, because come on, anything that Dita touches turns to gold. So I was very excited to read this foreword, and I was not disappointed by what our queen Dita said. Beautiful lingerie should not be limited as an instrument to catch a lover. It is a signal that you love yourself enough to take out the good stuff and feel special, even on the most mundane days. Like most things that Dita Von Teese says, I couldn't agree more. I would highly recommend this book to anyone who, similar to me, really wants to know more about lingerie and start embracing it more in their daily lives and being super intentional about it, and just needs a little bit of the vocabulary behind it and wants to know a little bit more about the history behind it, what's out there, names of different things like bras and knickers and all of those things. There's so many different kinds out there. So just know what you're looking for, know what you like, know what to do, when your body changes, like in pregnancy or when you're getting older, your boobs change and all these sort of things. It's so important to have the knowledge so that we can be comfortable. And if we can be comfortable, then we can be glamorous. And if we can be glamorous, then we'll be happy. I could talk about this topic forever. Let me know if you want any more videos about lingerie, because I'm fully starting my journey now and I'm so excited. I hope this video made you guys excited too. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.